Hello, everybody. My name is Alicia, and today I'm going to talk about the case of financial statement fraud involving the Steinhoff Corporation. I chose to talk about the Steinhoff Corporation because it was mentioned in previous classes of mine. I thought it was interesting, and I thought this was a perfect opportunity to look further into it. Steinhoff could be compared to IKEA in the way that they are an international furniture and home goods retailer. They have many different companies in different countries, including Mattress Firm here in America. They were involved in one of South Africa's biggest scandals from 2009 to 2017, making it an 8-year ordeal that had tremendous effects on the company's wealth and reputation. So in December of 2017, there were rumors of fraud within the corporation. An investigation promptly took place, where it was found that they were overstating profits. This created an illusion of income that hid loss and was very misleading to stockholders looking to invest in the company. So they were doing this by taking assets or underperforming companies and selling that off to another company. But the companies they were selling it to were also owned by Steinhoff, meaning they still own that debt. They were still liable for that debt. It just was not reflected where stockholders were looking. So it was misleading. If we look at a basic format of an income statement, you have revenues minus expenses equals net income. But when you're overstating your revenue, your expenses could stay the same or decrease. That's just going to really affect net income, typically as an increase. That net income is then reflected onto the statement of stockholders' equity, which is where a potential investor would look to decide whether or not they should invest into your company. There was many effects on the company, great financial loss, and a huge hit to the stockholders' confidence in the company. So now we're going to go on to look at these impacts a little more in depth. Starting with the monetary losses, the company did lose $7.4 billion. They had to write down their assets and increase their debt. And that makes sense when you think about what they were doing. They then have to put those underperforming assets back onto their books to reflect this and take back the debt that they were claiming they didn't have due to this false sale. When we look at non-monetary impacts of this case, it's a little harder to see them because South Africa doesn't have much of a way of prosecuting these types of crimes. Numerous employees resigned. Numerous lawsuits were filed. Some are still ongoing, which, results in heavy fines and restitution that they have to pay. But the public image was greatly affected. They are no longer seen as trustworthy by a lot of investors. And that can be seen if you look at the change in their stock price. If you look right here, around the time of the investigation, there was a drastic drop. This drop is a rapid 80% decrease that happened in a period of 3 days. In 3 days, their stock became basically worthless. Shareholder value fell dramatically, and people lost trust in the company. This is going to affect them in the future if people want to invest in their company or if they need investors into the company, because not many people are going to trust them, and it's going to make it harder for the company to grow and maybe even survive. So overall, We can look at this as a perfect example of what happens when a company does commit fraud. There is a tremendous effect on the wealth of shareholders and the company, as well as their reputation. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I'll be happy to answer and discuss this further with you. Otherwise, have a great day